TYT would like to thank Squarespace for making possible our coverage of the 2017 Oslo Freedom Forum. Whether you need a website, a domain, or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace. You can start your free trial at squarespace.com/TYT, and you'll get 10% off your first purchase.
So there's a woman here who's a Bahraini poet who I don't know what her various causes are, but we know what's been happening in Bahrain. And Bahrain is one of those places where the government has called in Eric Prince's company to send in mercenaries to train up their police and also to control protests and political discontent and beef up policing. And it's a big arms buyer. It's one of those wealthy Emirati states. So I heard her in here saying, I want the government of Norway to stop selling arms to Bahrain. I need to double check that, but after she did that, I was like, what? And so I looked up, and there's an article from earlier this month, from another English language Norwegian site called the Nordic Page, which seems legit. And it was as legit as it can be. And it talks about Norway's arms exporting. I didn't realize that it's often in the world's top 20 largest gun exporters. And two of the companies are Nammo and Raufoss, which I'm sure I said perfectly. But apparently...
And not just to Bahrain, but to a number of other states that we theoretically wouldn't want to see Norway selling arms to.
Several of the parties to the Yemen conflict, including Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and they were all able to purchase licensed Norwegian equipment in 2015, and from 2014 to 2015, Norway doubled exports of defense materials to all three of these countries.
Yeah.
And in 2015, Norway sold military equipment for $135 million to Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and Kuwait. Great.
In 1 year?
Yeah, 2014 to 2015.
Okay. So that is a lot. I mean, that's significantly less than 10% of what we sold to Saudi Arabia alone in that year, but it is significant. And the reason that we point this out, of course, is that no country is perfect. Every country can be improved. Some of their policies have terrible effects, even if the people there are generally quite nice.
Norway proportionally also puts a huge chunk of its budget proportionally into foreign aid as well. In foreign aid and programs I don't know about if they correspond to all those countries that they export weapons to. Not that it's not like carbon offsetting.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Either you believe in
swap in, swap out.
Either you believe in peace or you don't. And there are restrictions on it, but from this report, it didn't seem like there was any abiding to. We just don't. The world just has given up on obeying the rules of law when it comes to warfare. It seems like, Norway was the 7th largest gun exporter in the world in 2012 and the 10th largest in 2015. Like, it's not a small thing. And apparently they're not supposed to export bombs, grenades, and torpedoes, but suddenly last year that increased in sales, those specific types of weapons. They make them, they sell them, even though they're not supposed to by law.